Hey guys, Marzinkin here bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we're going to talk a little bit about the 2024 Worldwide Celebration, how it has been going so far, take a look back to the 2023 Worldwide Celebration and take a look at the content for like a little bit of a comparison, because a big thing that I'm seeing a lot of people saying is that this Worldwide Celebration has been a little bit lackluster so far, and I've seen some people a little bit concerned because obviously when it comes to Dokkan, this game constantly is making more and more money, growing and growing in size. We're finally having the game synced, which is like a huge thing that some players have been looking forward to for years. This is the big, like, sort of penultimate celebration. Obviously the worldwide celebration is always synced on both versions anyway, but this is like the last big celebration, and then going forward after this, the games are synced, and we're kind of in a into the new era of Dokkan, I guess you could say. And I've seen a lot of people say, you know, they're very concerned that this worldwide celebration feels like a step back from previous ones. A lot of people, even last year, to be fair, didn't enjoy last year's worldwide celebration as much as the cooler one. The cooler one, I think, still, apart from, like, you know, is up there with like the 9th anniversary as being one of the best celebrations in the game. And this celebration definitely has received some sort of mixed reviews, I think, so far. The one big thing to focus on, which is a plus, is that both the new units, the Physical Trio and the Tech Broly, are both very, very good. Very well received. The Banner unit, Piccolo, that exchanges into Vegeta, is pretty good as well. So we got off to an okay start. But I think people really started to get a little bit sort of in that negative mindset when we got the details for this guy right here, the Int Broly EZA. Now, I've tried out his EZA in a couple of stages now. I've already put up the videos for taking him up against Beast Gohan and the Blue Gogeta from the original Superhero Blue Zone. And he still does very well in those stages. Like, he can get caught out by big supers near the end, but he performs relatively well for what he is supposed to be as a unit, which is just a little damage dealer, can tank normals thanks to the damage reduction. Obviously, against an event where you're fighting a Goku, he can go ham, which is kind of his main purpose. But with the blue zone being a thing and us getting more content versus superclass enemies, I feel like that is something that we're not going to have any shortage of in the near future, right? Especially considering with this celebration, we are getting the new movie edition blue zone, which I imagine will probably end with a Goku fight. It depends how many of the movies they end up covering, but obviously we probably will get a stage versus the Physical Trio. We had that movie event where you just fight a Super Saiyan Goku. Came out the other day, same day as this guy, which obviously would be good in as well. That's another very strange thing, is the timing of the content release has been odd, because same time celebrations often release things at the JP time. So like this Broly EZA came out a little bit later on global to when events normally come out, because it came out in line with the JP release timing windows, which is fine. That happens in same time celebrations a lot. But they decided to drop those two stages for the movie event like 2 hours before that, which seems odd, right? Especially because this Broly, will be so good in one of those stages, but they didn't drop him like at the same time, which I think is very weird. So this guy, I think, very disappointing to people, especially when we look back and see what we actually got last year. Now, we're going to take a little bit of a deep dive into last year's celebration, take a look at all of the various things that we got, and see how that compares to what we got this year. Now, some of this stuff is very much the same, right? So, login bonus, special missions, obviously the same. Dual Dokkan Fest, of course, this time it was Dokkan Fest X Carnival, but same thing. Ticket packs available for people who spend. The new Dokkan events, obviously only one event in part 1, and obviously there were no new Dokkan events in part 2, but we'll get one in part 2 for this one, depending on who the upcoming Dokkan Fest category is. We got the medal mission to help farming the medals for the new units be a little bit easier, which is good. Same again. We got the tickets, which of course has a different format this time. The format for the ticket summon this time I do think is a little bit better with the step-ups. So that is a bit of a positive in the column for this year's worldwide. Then we have a co-op campaign, which obviously we had this time as well. The social media posting, it's like once a week, you get a couple of free stones. And then obviously we have all the ticket stuff for the memorial stones, which is the same again. Red stone, purple stone, LR premium stone. Again, this is all the same. sales. Then we got some story events. Now, in this one, we got a new story event with a new Trunks, and then we got an update to an old story event. The counterpart to this for this worldwide is the story event that came out on day one with the free-to-play farmable Paragus, which was only 3 stages. So in terms of like the story events, even though we did get an event as well, overall, like less content, right? Less stages in total. But we did get the free-to-play farmable unit. Then we have this event, which is basically like the Shimosha Planet one that we have now, where you can beat it every day and get some extra stones, which is good. Then we have the once every week to get skill orbs. Last year it was for Future Saga. This year it is the Broly one for, is it Uncontrollable Power is the skill orbs. And then we have Divine Wrath and Mortal Will. So this was the special event versus the various different Future Saga enemies. The equivalent of this for this celebration is the Memorial Battle Movie Edition. So I found some of these stages, I mean, the early ones were quite easy, but the 4 stages that we've had so far for actually 6 stages so far for the movie edition Memorial Battle thing have been super easy. So, I mean, obviously, I guess it was only, what, stage 5 or 6 of this that was the first difficult one. So, I mean, they're on a similar track. I mean, Broly for the final stage of the movie one can be a bit trickier at times. So I guess these do line up very nicely. Then we did start getting the red zone, right? The Dismal Future one. We're getting the blue zone. There's the movie edition. So that kind of lines up as well. The Kai Banner, the Dokkan Worldwide Special Battlefield. Obviously we have that. And then the part 2 starts in like a week's time. Then, of course, all different story events. Now, this is where we get up to where we are now, where there really is a noticeable difference, right? Is that we got the Int Broly Easy A. And in this worldwide celebration, not only did we get 2 Extreme Z battles instead of 1, but if we take a look at the timeline over here, we didn't just get these 2 Extreme Z battles, we also got the sub Easy A's for the Int Mai and the physical Gowasu and Zamasu. So technically at this same place where we are now in the celebration for this year, we got Int Broly's Easy A, but last year we got AGL, Zamasu, Tech Trunks, Int Mai, and physical Gowasu and Zamasu, like all on the same day. 4 Easy A's. Now 2 of them are sub Easy A's, so to a certain extent it's kind of annoying because you had to like re-farm medals and stuff like that. Actually, I can't remember if this one did have missions for just doing the Easy A gave you the extra medals for Mai and Gowasu and Zamasu. I don't know if they were doing that already with those kind of missions, but obviously that was something that was, you know, 4 Easy A's to test out. Tech Trunks was a little bit disappointing because, of course, he released with that Dismal Future Red Zone meta where fights were super hard straight away from turn 1 and he was a stacking unit. But Zamasu was good. Mai was pretty good on release for sure against the specific enemies with the dodge chance. And then obviously the Gowasu and Zamasu were a pretty good support unit with their dodge and like all the defense that they give to all allies. So we got 4 Easy A's, whereas this year we just got the Broly in that spot. So straight away it kind of poses the question of like, why did we not get this guy's Easy A like at the same time? Now for him, whilst he's not technically super useful for the trio team because he is a hybrid support, hybrid Saiyan support, that's only his base. They could have very easily made his Easy A give him Hybrid Saiyans or movie heroes support, and then he would get his unit super from the trio because it's activated when there's a Youth Gohan attacking in the same turn. And his unit super does greatly raise attack for 1 turn and then has a infinite stack defense, whereas his normal super attack is just raises attack and defense for 1 turn. So this guy getting an Easy A could have been a really, really good addition to the trio team because not only would he be giving support to the Hybrid Saiyans and potentially, like I say, add movie heroes in here, not only would he be giving support to units on the team, but we've already seen from some of the videos that I've done and where we've been looking into different team builds just how much of a crazy buff the physical trio is to like everybody else on their teams. So like this unit with an Easy A could potentially have been really, really good. And with a Youth Gohan on rotation every time because of the trio, he'd be stacking defense. Like he could be a really, really good unit for the trio team. And it kind of begs the question of why didn't they Easy A him at the same time? Because now it means he's just going to have to get an Easy A either later in the celebration, which I guess will be fine, or from some other random like Hybrid Saiyans or Trunks or movie themed celebration, right? So it seems like that could have been a very easy move right there to just drop this guy's EZA at the same time. But I think the biggest problem, and the reason why I'm making this video now, is we've reached this point where we are, this guy released yesterday his EZA, and now there's nothing else. If you take a look in the news, like nothing else is upcoming in the game, basically for the rest of the week. And here we are on Wednesday, right? His EZA came out on Tuesday, and we got nothing else to do. And if we take a look at the timeline, so this was part 1 for last year. The only major difference, actually, is that the free-to-play unit from the story event that came out right at the beginning didn't awaken straight away. So I guess at least we have this over last year, because you can see here we got up to the end of August, and then we go into September. We got the EZAs, then we get a bunch more content. So this is kind of where we are now. We just got the Broly's EZA. This was on the 1st of September. We got it on the 3rd, so we are a couple of days difference. And then the next lot of content came out on the 8th. Which, bearing in mind, we've got nothing else in the news for the rest of the week. And the 8th this year is Sunday. So, realistically, that means it's probably going to be the 9th, which is Monday. So, there's no other content coming out for the rest of the week, by the looks of things. And then, of course, we had here new story event stuff. I don't think they will add stages to that story event with the Paragus, but you never know. This was a new event for link leveling, so hopefully we will get that as well. Updated to the Divine Wrath and Mortal Will, so that'll be more movie event stages, more Blue Zone stages, an infinite Dragon Ball history. I mean, those are always like fairly easy, fun, straightforward events to just beat, get a bunch of extra stones. Then we got another EZA, and then we got a burst mode as well. So this EZA also gave us not just the Gohan EZA, but then the Tech Trunks one as well. So 2 EZAs again in this one slot. And then of course we got the awakenings for the free-to-play characters, so that part's kind of irrelevant here because we only got the free-to-play Paragus and he already awakened. So potentially next week we're going to see a bunch of stuff including another EZA, and then it was 1 week after that that the part 2 banners came out. So that's the thing, we're on kind of like a slow pace at the moment, because all of this stuff dropping at the same time at the beginning of next week will be great because there's a bunch of different stuff to do, but that leaves us with the last bit of content having dropped on Tuesday the 3rd, and we're potentially looking at no more content dropping until Monday the 9th, which obviously is very disappointing. The battlefield resets in 2 days. You can see that in the menu now, so we do get the part 2 battlefield in a couple of days time, so that'll be coming out on Friday. So there's at least that to do, but of course all that is resetting the enemies. I wonder if there'll be different enemies or they are just changing the typing, but Battlefield will be reset, so you can at least get a bunch of stones and some extra goodies out of that. But Battlefield is not exactly like a huge piece of content. You can play through it at a slow pace, I guess, but that's the only thing that we have to look forward to for the rest of the week. And then next week we'll potentially get all of this stuff. But I mean, even following this same pace, like this all came out on the 8th and then nothing else came out until the 15th. Now, the one thing this doesn't show on the wiki is when they will drop in, like say they add a bunch of missions to the Legendary Freezer event or something like that. It won't show that on here. So I believe that there were a few missions added to things in between this gap, which we also haven't had during this celebration. So overall, in terms of content, it feels like this worldwide celebration is certainly a little bit more dry than the one from last year, which is a shame. And then obviously the cooler one, that was a really good celebration. I feel like was generally enjoyed by most of the player base. So it is a little bit disheartening, especially as we move into the sync. Like tensions are already a little bit high on global with the fact that we're back to back banners, so people have had pretty much no chance to get all of the units they want, especially if you're not a spending player. Then we had the pity system, which I've already talked about like a few times. Like I think it's an okay system, could do with some improvement, but it's definitely better than nothing, and is something that will be, you know, players, if it stays in place as a thing that is going to be like every worldwide celebration, maybe even for the anniversary, there is going to be enough time with 6 months between those celebrations for people to save up. But with it coming out now after dropping 10 banners on our head in the last few weeks, I can see why people are a bit disappointed. So the one thing I think that really could have helped to really sort of like boost morale, I guess you could say, across the entire player base is for this worldwide celebration to be absolute fire. And I mean, the new units are really good, right? And that was an interesting start. They dropped on the first day, so we didn't have any of this, like the celebration starts and then you have to wait for the next day for the units to come out, because that's always a bit of a hype killer. The Goku, the trio and the Broly came out. They're really, really good. They're super fun to use. But then it seems like everything else after that has just been kind of a nothing burger. Because I mean, those movie event, to say that those are disappointing, I mean, like, they're like 5-minute run stages at this point. So, you know, maybe we'll get, when the final Blue Zone stages come out towards the end of the anniversary, like maybe we'll have the new hardest fight in the game, something that will be interesting to test out a bunch of different units in and stuff like that. But honestly, at the moment, I definitely do feel a little bit disappointed with the celebration so far. And as I said, we are here now on Wednesday. By the time this video goes up, it'll be late on Wednesday in the UK, probably still early afternoon in the US. But here we are on Wednesday, and we basically have nothing, as far as we know, like nothing else coming out in the game until potentially next week. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on this worldwide celebration overall? What do you think they could have done to improve? Give me some thoughts down below in the comment section. Hopefully we'll get some exciting stuff soon. Very much looking forward to seeing what the part 2 units are going to be, who the next big Easy A is going to be, because again, based on last year, we should be expecting another Easy A with this next set of content that will potentially come out next week. So let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been The Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out all the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.